Karen,
Yes.
do you think world
Quite often. Oh, go ahead.
Gotta let me finish sometimes.
Well, there's that pause. You don't like pauses.
I know I don't, but still, you gotta just let me finish.
All right.
All right, Karen,
Yes.
do you think world peace is something we can just manifest?
Oh, God, I wish it was. I so wish it was.
Okay, I'm talking like if we all just collectively visualize holding hands across the globe while burning sage and chanting Om will fix politics, climate change, and even Twitter, right?
Well, you're saying if we all. So if everyone was doing that, then yeah, there would just be no violence.
You know,
Because everybody would be holding hands. Everybody.
I guess that's a good point. If we're all holding hands, we can't actually fight, right?
Exactly.
Well, today's guest, he's got a radically different take, and it might just be what we've all been waiting for.
Ooh.
Yep. See, he says that unity isn't about everyone agreeing. It's about something deeper.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. Seriously, just when you thought you'd finally arrived on your spiritual path, boom, this guy shows up and whispers, yeah, but what if that's just your ego in a new pair of yoga pants?
Damn it.
I know. He's an Ivy League trained lawyer turned intuitive guide, a literary scholar with a PhD who channels divine insight, and he's got the receipts to prove it. Awards, books, even a Kundalini awakening that probably short-circuited half the eastern seaboard.
Wow.
Today, we're digging into how seasoned seekers get stuck in their awakened identity, why fighting for peace might be the biggest contradiction of them all, why traditional activism sometimes works against spiritual wisdom, and how your inner transformation might just be the missing piece in the global unity puzzle.
You realize this is only like a 45-minute show. Not like 3 weeks.
Well, spoiler alert, he's not here to just talk. He's actually launching something powerful, and he's announcing it on the show here with us today.
Ooh.
And he's even offering a live reading for us on the air.
That's exciting.
Gulp.
Or scary.
So yeah, if I start crying, don't judge me. Unless it's like that beautiful cry. Then record it in slow motion.
Oh, I've seen you cry.
Oh, that's true. It's never beautiful. This is definitely one of those you're not crazy, you're evolving kind of episodes. So stay tuned because the Skeptic Metaphysician starts now.
My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians.
Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
Welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, where we don't just talk the talk,
Nope.
we walk the walk, but we're really tired.
Yeah, we kind of just talk and they walk.
I know.
Anyway,
Anyway, our guest today is not your average spiritual teacher. He's a former professor and attorney whose journey from courtroom logic to cosmic wisdom is anything but predictable. With multiple award-winning books, channeled transmissions, and a gift for guiding others through the fog of awakening, he's become a trusted voice for those navigating the messy space between identity and soul. He challenges the spiritual status quo with bold insights on paradox, ego traps, and how seekers unknowingly stay stuck, all while offering a deeply grounded path to inner peace and collective healing. He's here to help us untangle awakening from performance and maybe even show us a way to heal the world from the inside out.
Ooh.
So please welcome Patrick Paul Garlinger to the show. Patrick, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you. I'm frankly now very intimidated by the lead-in. I don't know if I'm going to live up to this. Those are some amazing words. Thank you.
Well, you know, we expect a lot from our guests, and this is no different, Patrick. So
we don't have just anybody on the show.
That's
right. Come on.
All right. Well, like we always do, we just want to dive right into the topic. All right. And what really caught my attention in all of this introduction and all the research I did from you on you is that you say that being stuck is often misdiagnosed as a plateau, when it actually could be a form of spiritual bypassing. What? What? Like what?
I don't know if that's your best questions.
That was a great question.
Well, okay. What do you mean by that, Patrick?
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, no. I think you've got this better than I do. I want you to answer the question, Will. I think you've got better answers than I've got. That was so well put.
Should we just replay the intro? Maybe?
Yeah, exactly. So uh, getting stuck. People come to me all the time and they're like, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. And most of the time, what they're stuck with is some sense that what they're going through is like they shouldn't be going through this. Like they should be beyond this already.
Yes,
Why is it here?
that's right.
I'm still doing this. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the human condition. We're all stuck.
It's a long bypass.
Yeah.
Really long.
But
We're all stuck, basically.
but sometimes,
over and over.
but there's sometimes where you feel a lot more connected than others, right? There's
Yeah.
and a lot of times when you feel like okay, I'm gonna just speak from my own personal experience. I've been doing the show for a long time now, and I feel like I should at least have my toe stuck out of my body, but nothing. So what is it? Why is it that my phone is ringing when it should be on mute? Sorry about that. How is it that no matter how much work we do, it still doesn't get us to where we need to be?
Right. Well, there's the first part, right? The first problem is, where we need to be. Like where you need to be is already like right away the question that's like in the way of like, where do you need to be? You've got some desire, you want to be somewhere. You want to be somewhere else where you are. And most of the time, when I work with people and they come to me around being stuck, whatever they're claiming to be stuck in, right? Like, so sometimes it's sort of what you said. I want a desire. I want to be somewhere. I want to be experiencing bliss all the time.
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you and me both. I mean, for all the Kundalini awakenings and, moments that I go into samadhi, my chakras are lit up, I've got 1,000 other experiences of, my emotions are here and there. And yes, I'm fully aware of what's going on. And yet I'm also really human. And so when things get stuck, when things really like sort of hold on, that's what needs to be given attention to. And what I find, this goes back to your bypassing thing, is so many people are like, they want to move through it fast. They're like, this shows up. Wait, I've got tools. I'm going to heal it. I'm going to Reiki it. I'm calling in this, archangel. I'm doing that. Like, let's move it along. And sometimes what you really have to do is just feel again and again and again. And sometimes that sucks, to be blunt. It just sucks to be human.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying, but so often we're told if you think that, if you feel that, if you let that fear or whatever into your brain, you're going to manifest that. And that's what's going to happen.
Oh, I love that.
So that's scary.
Yeah. Well, I love to throw that one right into the dustbin of
thank you.
Because like that whole magnetic model, just like everything you feel. Yeah. If you went around believing it, nurturing it, holding on to it, being like, where am I, whatever it is that you're feeling, yeah, you probably will manifest it. You're putting out a lot of energy. If you're just feeling it in your body, it's not going to happen. That is one thing that happens. I'm glad you raised that, Karen, because that's something that people do all the time. The minute they feel it, oh no, if I feel a lot of anger, I'm going to like manifest something. I feel fear, I'm going to manifest something. Most of the time it's just, there's something in us that really wants to be felt. And so many spiritual people get really caught up in lots of really fancy techniques, want to move energy and do things like that and get rid of it. At one point in the pandemic, I was super depressed, weeks and weeks and weeks. Now, of course, it's a pandemic, there's a lot going on, but basically I could not budge this. Nothing would move, all the techniques and prayer, etc. And I finally just was like, oh yeah, I just need to feel this. And I sat and I sat and I sat. And finally, I broke into like absolute sobbing tears as this piece of me came up. It was a 10-year-old self.
Wow.
From when my parents got divorced, who said, who is going to take care of me? Because it was like in the pandemic, everything's falling apart. Like, you wonder.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, there's this little piece of me from when my parents got divorced that just needed to be heard. And I wasn't going to like, archangel, Reiki, that didn't need to be moved. That it needed to be felt. So this is what I come to again and again is a lot of people, back to your point, Will, they bypass it because we just don't want to feel it because we want to get back to feeling bliss.
Right, right. That's a perfect explanation of spiritual bypassing, right? It's not feeling into the shadows. It's just everything's gonna be fine. Love and light. Nothing's wrong.
Love and
Everything's
light.
all good. Right. Sometimes you have to go through the shadow to get to the other side.
But what if you get stuck in that feeling?
Mm.
You know, or
great
are you
question.
stuck? Are you supposed to just be in there for a certain period of time? I need
Yeah.
help.
Such a great question, because the skill is learning how to sort of touch it for a while and really touch it, and then knowing when you are getting submerged and you need to step back and you need to sort of put it down for a little bit and come back. And that's a skill that, in Buddhism and mindfulness, particularly around sort of touching this sort of stuff gently and not getting subsumed by it. That takes some skill as well.
So is there such a thing as too much inner work? Like when does healing become hiding?
Beautifully put. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you are withdrawing from the world, not interacting with people, and I know people like this. I won't name names, but I know people in the world who are, teachers,
Yeah.
published, etc., who are just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with people. I just want to do my inner work. And I was like, well, you are the world. That doesn't mean you have to interact with everyone, but you basically said, I'm going to withdraw from the parts of me that are triggering me, because that's what we do when we withdraw. So if we're describing inner work as like sitting in meditation, not interacting with people, not engaging with things that trigger us, then we are really hiding, and we're actually hiding from the parts of us that get triggered, which is what we actually should be working on.
Wow. All right. Well,
I got a little work to do.
I mean, we kind of both do.
So, I mean, would you recommend to someone, so say someone is kind of in this situation where they're trying to work on something and they're really feeling like they're getting stuck in that emotional pit. I mean, at that point, should they reach out to someone like you to help, or a therapist, or their friends, or just kind of ride it out?
Yeah. When I read people who've come to me with stuck issues, it's usually that they can't quite see it. And that's where you do benefit. You do need somebody who can illuminate that perspective. And sometimes that can be a therapist. People come to me all the time, and then I'm like, oh, what's going on with you is from this age or this thing. And sometimes it's a deep level trauma. It's like physical abuse, sexual abuse, something like that. That's like, I'll send somebody to a trauma healer. Process that.
I never thought about that. That's a perfect, like, complementary, like, Eastern Western medicine sort of thing. And I can find what's going on, and then you can have
Take
someone
care
else.
of it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
very
right.
cool. I never thought of that symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. I mean, and some people is like, they don't realize that they need to go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Or more often than not, what I find is that people are like, well, but I've healed that. And I'm just like, okay. Well.
I beg to differ.
I
my
mean,
dear sir.
you have free will and you have power and you have sovereignty, but it doesn't read that way to me.
Or anyone else around you, actually. Right. I know people like that. Yeah. Not to name any names either.
Right. Exactly.
No,
But
I didn't mean to look at you. Sorry, Karen.
But sometimes it just takes a shift in perspective to be like, oh, well, this piece that's going on, or this is just coming up, And again, I'm incredibly careful about confidentiality, but just to give a point is, I read somebody, and this memory kept coming up, and it just was sort of this image. It kept resurfacing as I'm like tuning in as a person. And I was like, I'm just keep getting this image of you and this animal. And the person was like, oh yeah, that was the one source of love when I was a child. And then went on to describe the family life. And the family life was like, whoa, that wasn't even what was coming through. What was coming through was this one memory. And then this client said, I often find these memories keep coming back, but I just, I'm not sure I'm really ready to. I'm like, that's what's happened. Like literally, these memories are pulling in to say, look at me. And so when that person was stuck, is that the mind and the body were telling them, this is where we want to go. It goes back to the bypassing question. And I just had to be blunt. It's like, you got to do this work. This is the stuff. Like, whether it's with a therapist or you just being honest, like, okay, I got to grapple with what mom and dad did to me.
Right. And it comes down to the fact that we've talked so many times about you can't just flip a switch and become awakened. You have to do the work. And so often do I go out there in the world and feel I do a podcast about spiritual awakenings. I'm very awakened, and only to realize I haven't done jack squat when it comes to all these interviews. And so no wonder I'm stuck in the same damn place I was when it first started, right? I actually have to put the work into it. I totally get it.
You've done some work.
I have.
You've done some work.
I have.
You've done some work.
I have. I have. But I have a long way to go still. I got a lot more work to go.
We all have. I've done so much work. And then there are times I'm like, wait, this thing? It's still there? And then we kind of go, yeah, it's still there. Okay. Another little layer. It's deeply hardwired. And you kind of accept that part of yourself, which is like, okay, this is who I am. This is, and not in a sort of like I'm fatalistic, like I'm stuck. This is forever.
Right.
But,
yeah,
it's I wish more people could just be really honest, especially people like me who put out books and appear as guests on podcasts and things like that. We got our stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the epitome, the cliche, right, is the therapist that needs therapy. They say that a lot of therapists get into the therapy business because of their need for therapy.
Right.
And they get it for free. So maybe that, a new career path for me.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Well, we've interviewed hundreds of people, and we do from time to time come across someone who said, well, I was, I don't know, on a mountain bike and had an accident, or I was in a car accident, and then, all of a sudden I started hearing voices and I had this awakening experience. And I mean, I'm jealous except for the accident part. I don't want that.
Right.
But what's your take on that? If they're not necessarily doing work, all of a sudden they have an awakening.
Yeah, because that's not my experience. I mean, I did have my own kind of like, my life fell apart.
Kundalini awakening is a little...
Well,
I wanna
that
hear about
thankfully
that.
came later. And that was definitely a moment of grace. But, I went through, basically just like a mental breakdown and was like, what am I doing with my life? And then all of a sudden, the universe started sending me, a friend of mine was like, oh, you should go see this friend of mine who's a psychic. And I was like, oh, yeah, right, whatever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, all these Indian divine mother figures started showing up, and they're like, you should go see this. And all of a sudden, just the world opened up. But, it took me being basically beaten down by life to the point where I was like, what is wrong with me? But I didn't have, the near-death experience, the accident or whatnot. So I can't speak to that other than the experience that I've had, like the Kundalini awakening, which did come after a lot of work, but completely unexpected, unplanned for, no desire attached to it. Like, just happens. So I can't judge them for their experience, but if it happens, it happens.
But it's interesting what you just said, with both of you, because you said some people get into accidents or they have a near-death experience or something like that. Other people have to hit rock bottom before things start moving.
Said beaten down by life, beaten down by a tree. I don't know.
You just got to get beaten down. So,
some sort of beat down's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and we've also talked on the show about the fact that the universe starts with a whisper and ends up with a 2x4 to the head. So I'm assuming that what you're saying, what we're saying here is get down and do the work before you get hit by a 2x4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True. Although
Or wear a helmet.
I did start with the whisper, though. I started, I was a gym bunny in Atlanta, Georgia, going to a gym where all of a sudden at my gym, there was a power yoga class. And I was like, oh, I could do that. Because, of course, I'm a gym bunny. I was like, I can do that. So I went to power yoga, and it turns out it was a serious Ashtanga class taught by somebody who had trained in Mysore and was like giving me Sanskrit. And I was sweating. I didn't know what was going on, but I loved it.
Right.
So I discovered all that. And that still didn't prevent the 2x4 because I wasn't really, really, really listening. At the end of the day, you're going to have the awakening that you need. I mean, I have looked back at that experience, right, and said, "Oh, why couldn't I have avoided this? Why didn't I get to wake up earlier? 10 years earlier, where would I be now?"
Yeah.
Didn't happen. That's part of accepting. This goes back to one of your first question, Will, about spiritual speakers being stuck. One of the ways that people get stuck is they have a sort of sense of like, this is the way it should have been. This is how it was supposed to go. Oh, and then I've had my awakening, and now I'm supposed to get to bliss. It's supposed to, as opposed to life taking you where you actually need to go.
Right. It's all about surrender.
I was going to say, it is about surrender. Yeah. We're so taught in this culture specifically, you got to make the plans, you got to make the appointments and the dates and the calendars and the whatever. So you control everything. And so you know how you want things to be. So I guess it makes sense. You would think you know how your awakening is going to happen because you're just kind of used to kind of thinking a couple steps ahead of the game. So you have to let go of any thought of knowing that that's...
Yeah. All right. Well, you so generously offered to do a brief reading on us, and I do want to get to that at some point, very soon before we forget, because that is really the most important thing after all. But no, I'm just kidding. But I do want to talk about peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yes. First, let's maybe define it a little bit. When it comes to us, like what does peace feel like in your body?
Right. Well, it's a great question, because so many times when we talk about peace, we're really talking about like the absence of conflict or the cessation of conflict, like taking break from war or conflict. And like, that's peace. And that's just the pause in war. That's not really peace. At all.
That's so depressing, Patrick.
It's so depressing, right? But peace is really the state of being of feeling and believing that whatever is happening right now is okay just as it is. Like whatever is happening in your life. Maybe we want to keep it really simple. We don't have to get into like the whole world just yet. But like now, like, are you at peace? Like right in this moment? Are you like, yeah, this is fun? Maybe not. But peace is really sort of that the external circumstances like have no bearing. I mean, peace isn't something that we create. Peace is something that we allow when we've stripped away all the conditioning and all the judgment. It's sort of the natural state that we have.
But
that's true.
How do
we create conflict?
We do.
Some people conflict would be in peace.
Well, some people say that conflict comes from our pain body, right? So how does peace feel? Like, how do you know that you have achieved peace? Because people walk around all the time saying, "Oh yeah, I'm good," but inside there's turmoil. There's all kinds of stuff stirring up in there.
Right.
Kind of ties into our last conversation. So how can you tell when you have found inner peace?
I don't know. When I find it, I'll tell you.
Oh, darn it.
We can experience moments of peace. See, this is me being radically honest, because, I experience moments of peace. And then I got to get up and, I got to make dinner, and wait, it's something there. And I'm like a little annoyed. Am I out of peace? Yeah, I'm out of peace. If I'm judging that, I might say that there's something of a spectrum, but if your general relationship to your life, I'm not talking the sort of the minor annoyance, like, you run out of coffee, you're like, something like that.
That is pretty annoying, though.
It can be, really. That was a bad example. Okay. A terrible example. Yeah. Little stuff that might be, you're like annoyed for a second. Fine. But if your general overall feeling is like, my life is not under threat right now. That these circumstances are not ones that challenge my existence. Then you have achieved a modicum of peace.
I knew you can say that word, modicum. I knew it.
You knew it.
You knew it?
I did.
You read my mind.
I did.
You know, it's interesting because, so we work in TV and do a lot of podcasting, and people will ask us to, critique their podcast or how can, they make it better. And we talk about the audio a lot. And audio is one thing that if the audio is great, you won't notice. You'll listen to the podcast, you'll get the information. But if the audio sucks, you notice. And so now I'm thinking maybe that's kind of similar like these moments of peace. When you're in peace, maybe you're not noticing it, but you're getting annoyed that you see that the coffee's missing.
I love that.
Or something like that.
I love that. That's very
That's
nice.
right.
So maybe it's about me being more aware or appreciative.
Right.
Yeah.
But then let's now go from inward peace to outward peace.
Yes.
The world is a mess right
It's a
now.
hot mess.
And us as spiritual seekers, we try to be at peace. But some of the stuff, some people out there listening or watching might feel like their life is in danger because of some of the things that are happening.
Absolutely.
So how can you reflect peace into the world without, or become a spiritual activist without becoming or falling into the us versus them trap?
Yeah. It's truly like the hardest work, right? Like, let's just be honest. That is, I think, some of the hardest things. And we began with a coffee example, as trivial as that is. And then, you want to talk about, the state of the nation, international conflict.
I mean, it's a natural transition, I think.
Right. I'm feeling very peaceful right now. Utter serenity over here. And really, the way I'd reframe it is, peace is, for me, the state where you can be like, everything that is happening, no matter what it is in some way still operating for my highest good. Now, that means that peace can kind of almost coincide with or coexist with lots of other emotions. And we can be very kind of, I want to say this, we can hold multiple positions at the same time, and still, in some level, there can be a level of peace. But we tend to lose it when we get into the world of, let's say, politics. When we start talking about like this group, they're the problem,
Yes. And they are, by the way, but anyway.
What's that?
And they are, by the way, but go ahead.
And they are. Wherever they are.
Right. Wherever they are, they're the problem. Never me. It's always them.
It's always them. Hey, there was a brilliant episode of Black Mirror, if you've ever seen it.
I love Black Mirror, yes.
Black Mirror is genius on the episode about the other. It was just like the other is
Yes.
the problem.
Yes.
Like the whole episode, it was like, who was the other? It doesn't matter. It's the other.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. At the same time, and now maybe I'm going to fall into a contradiction, and I want you to call me out on it.
Okay.
But there are positions or ways of being in the world that are more compassionate and more empathetic and more aligned with like, you have a right to exist than other positions do. Right? There are people that definitely hold positions like those people shouldn't exist. Those people shouldn't
Oh,
exist.
yeah.
There are.
Right. And I think that we can agree without falling into those positions definitely give rise to conflict. Like you telling somebody you should not exist on this planet
Yes.
versus like, hey, I want to exist and you have a right to exist. And if you just stopped worrying about my existence, we'd be fine because my existence is not really a threat to you. That is your internal conflict, right? And that goes, the person that generates conflict is like, I'm not at peace because somehow this is a threat to me. The structure of consciousness, right? Like the idea, like we need to get rid of these people who are different from me. And I know I'm being very generic here for a reason. I'm being generic here for a reason for your audience because I don't know who your audience is.
Yes. No, and we appreciate that because
Yeah.
we don't either.
Well, we think everybody, no matter what side you're on, can benefit from these messages. So.
Benefit.
For
It's
sure.
like, if your view is like, actually, you're not a threat to me, right? And the people that we think of as a threat to us, that goes back to the sort of inner work because you haven't done the inner work. Why does that quality, that difference engender so much fear and anxiety in you about the state of the world?
That is the biggest question. Why does it? How is that so threatening to someone that they're being different makes them feel threatened? Go back to the ancient days, right? We're talking about the Salem witch trials and the Crusades, and it's always you are different than me, and so you shouldn't exist. So, can you come to terms with why someone would feel so threatened by the differences?
I mean, I find it perplexing as somebody who's like, why is that difference threatening to you? Your existence is not really under threat just by the mere existence of this person. And very often these conflicts end up creating the conditions by which they sort of make them into threats, because some side takes action to eliminate the other and the other one responds. And therefore there are actually threatening to each other's existence at that point.
Right.
Right. And so we end up producing the very thing that we were worried about because we were scared. And some part of it's sort of a primal reptilian brain at work of like difference. I don't know, I suppose, going back to like, oh, there's the saber-toothed tiger,
Right.
But we forget that, people, like, there's a difference, and then there's the discourse around it and the beliefs around it and what those people do. And we would have to get really specific, I think, around an example to sort of unwind the beliefs that we start attaching. But then people develop biases and they develop prejudice. And they're like, this is the way these people are in kind of a sweeping way.
I have a theory.
Yes.
Now, a lot of this probably comes from the pain body, right? The need to create conflict in order to make themselves feel better. But I think a lot of that deep-rooted dislike for someone just because they're different might come from a position of fear within themselves. I think somewhere inside they are afraid either maybe I'm like that, or you're going to do something to me that I am going to be threatened by. And so that fear, that hatred comes from inside, and they externalize it.
Yeah, 100%.
And it doesn't really matter who, as long as they have someone to point to sometimes.
Right.
See, I think it's about control and trying to control your environment. And if you go way back and, you have these two, people, and one guy wants to control everything and he's big and strong and everyone's kind of doing what he's saying. And this other guy's like, oh, that's fine for you, but I don't necessarily accept that. Well, these people might start following that guy. So I got to get rid of that guy so that I can keep control of these people. I don't know.
This is a very different episode of the show.
I know. I feel like we've gone into this cultural anthropology talk, which I love because I have a degree in anthropology.
Right.
But
this is a skeptic anthropologist.
So the piece that I think for the podcast that's important, because hate to break it to you, I'm not going to solve the issue of world peace.
Man,
I know, right?
Why are we here?
I thought I had to cite the book. I wrote a book. Well, I channeled a book. But the key piece is that people in the spiritual world, we love to think that peace is just like around the corner. It's just like going to show up. It's like, it's next year. It's showing up. New Earth. It's like, and when I ask people, I was like, okay, we're all doing what Karen says. We're all holding hands, burning sage, singing Kumbaya. We have a moment of world peace. Okay, now we got to get back to our lives. Right. We're all feeling really good about ourselves. Okay. Who's running things? Where are we getting food? Who's doing this or that? Like all the things. Like I ask myself all the time, what does a world look like where we all like regard each other with love and empathy and as like divine beings? It's like, okay, so what kind of laws do we have in place? When do we need laws? Wait, who would enforce the laws? Do we need police officers? Like these are the questions, and people are like, don't worry about it. The new Earth is coming. I'm like,
right.
Do we have world leaders? Do we have one name? Like this is
Yeah.
stuff that I think about.
Well, thankfully, we don't have to worry about that much longer. We have our friend AI to handle all that for us.
Oh, that's true. And the rapture.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. So let's talk about paradox, because in your book, Endless Awakening, you write about paradox as a path,
Yeah.
right? What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, for me, and this goes back to kind of the way in which we get stuck and get bypassed and start bypassing, which is that, we mostly have, we have an awakening experience, whether we're hit by a 2x4, a tree, whatever it is, knocks us up. We wake up and we're like, oh my gosh, how amazing is this? Oh, everything I thought about the world is different. Okay, where's enlightenment? I'm ready. Oh, wait, I'm still stuck. And we kind of get a before and after, before awakening, after awakening, of my identity. And then, sometimes people are on I'm on an ascension path. I'm ascending. And it's like, okay, next level, next level. Wait, no, why am I not there yet? And we get this sort of linear time path. And for me, it comes back to how the mind works. It's just like, that very construct of this is what happened to you is that story is itself a product of an old consciousness that had it before awakening and after awakening. And there's a lot of judgment about who we were before. And when we get into paradox, it's sort of can we hold multiple mutually exclusive positions together at the same time? Can we say that we're whole and still healing? Can we say that we're never and always in the present moment? And what does that mean? Can we say that I am mortal and immortal at the same time? When we kind of start to let our minds hold contradiction, then we're actually more at peace. The person that's I am always going to be non-judgmental, and then because that's a wonderful thing to be as a spiritual person. And then you get pissed off, judgment, and you're like, oh, I'm a bad person, as opposed to I am whole and still healing. I hold multitudes.
Oh. Well, all this talk of being stuck and finding a way to be at peace when everything is getting crazy, you've kind of danced around it, but the big thing there is, how does someone who is very much living in a 3D, going through their professional, they're working in a job 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and yet they want to break out, they want to spiritually awaken. Yeah. If only there was a program that could do something like that, that could help people do that. I believe that you're going to announce something on the show today, right? Something that you might be launching or something.
I am. Imagine, Will. I think you might be an intuitive, Will.
I don't like to brag, but
in fact, I am. Working with people a lot over the years. People come to me for readings, and I see them, here and there, and they come in, and sometimes they'll want to do multiple readings. Sometimes I send them to a therapist. Sometimes I say, okay, just go do this and work on it. Mm-hmm. And they circle back 6 months later, and they're sort of they haven't made a lot of progress, or they've made some progress. And what I realized is that I really wanted to start working with people who were kind of in my shoes, that is people who are professionals in some way, who are, going to a job. It doesn't have to be being a lawyer, it can be anything. It's just you've committed to a certain path in life, and then all of a sudden you realize there's really more to life than this. How do I make sense of this? And how do I go to my job? How do I be a doctor, or be in corporate, or be a teacher, or whatever it is that you're doing, being a lawyer, and still do this? So many people hit that and they're like, oh, okay, this is meaningless. Or how do I find meaning and success in this and still feel like I'm honoring being a divine, spiritual being? So yeah, I created a program. It's a 1-year community membership program where we do a lot of deep work. And it's because, it takes time to do this stuff, do the inner work. And we often need to do it in a relationship. And I find a lot of people come to me and they're like, yeah, I'm doing this on the DL. right? Like
Right.
they're not going into the firm, they're not going to their
They're
colleagues.
not listing it on LinkedIn or right. Right.
They're like, are there other lawyers? Are there doctors? I'm like, yeah, they come to see me, but it's all on the DL, like, corporate, which I get, I
Yeah.
get. And so, I've launched a program. So if people want to come to my website and get more info, great. But it's a place where I am typically very, like our conversation today, we weren't really getting into Kundalini and chakras and all Akashic records. Listen, I can talk that talk. I love that talk. But, that's not what you need most of the time when you're like, I'm at the office and I'm feeling stressed and I'm like, I'm working 12-hour days or whatever it is that you're dealing with. And you're sort of managing, to use your language, you're managing life in 3D, material reality. We gotta work. We gotta pay bills.
So then you're going to help professional people to find their that tone tipping,
Balance? Yeah.
the balance
maybe?
beam, right? Walking on the balance beam, that tightrope. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
You're going to help people walk that tightrope that is so critical in this day and age because
right.
no one wants to be outed.
Well, we've been talking about it a lot lately that it's doctors and lawyers and computer people. Everybody, very mainstream type people are in this space now. So I always call it covert mainstream because they're like, on the down low, but they're just like the regular people.
Right.
Yeah. They're just regular people. And they're like, where do I go?
Yep.
But
there's still that kind of stigma.
Okay.
So and we're going to add a link to your website so people can reach out to join that community, make it easy for them. But when they first reach out to you, do you do a reading for them to kind of get them on the path first, or how does that work?
So, if people want to are interested in the program, like they can come talk to me about where they are, what they're doing. I want to make sure this is going to be right for them because some people like actually might benefit from working with somebody else. If they want to have a reading, then I will do a reading because some people want to know that. Usually in the course of a kind of, just a conversation, there'll be a little bit of a mini reading so they get a sense of kind of what it is, So there will be some of that. And if somebody wants like a full on reading, then we can schedule that separately. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of readings,
yes.
You did mention before we started recording that you had gotten a lot, like pages upon pages of stuff on us. So I'm really curious.
There's books.
You graciously agreed to do a mini reading on us, and
so the way I read, just so that people know, because there's lots of readers out there, and they do different things, and I have like colleagues that I'm like, oh, if you want this, go to this reader. If you want this, go to that reader. So typically when I start reading somebody, and it was interesting because it was reading two of you and sort of who wanted to come in first.
we're kind of like the same person, though. So
What?
We're kind of like the same person. So it doesn't.
Are you?
Yes.
That's not how that reads
Patrick.
to me. No,
Yes. Yes, we are.
I will reveal nothing impertinent. But often, so when I read people, some people they're like, I want to know what's happening in 6 months, what's happening in a year. I'm like, I'm not that kind of reader. Like I read and I sort of get a snapshot of you and what's going on and the things that are coming through and sort of where you're at with the idea of the evolution of your consciousness of like, who are you trying to, as you're on a growth path towards connecting with your soul and coming back into wholeness.
No, it sounds pretty perfect.
Yeah. And so interesting. I'll be curious to see how you react to this. And it's interesting because I've got my notes and I'm sort of trying to turn the dial because I'm used to reading people without having like chatted for 55 minutes about sundry topics. Like I'm really up here now, but we're gonna go with it.
Sorry, we could have started with this.
No, this is great. It's I'm just coming back to my notes. So when I first tune into somebody, I usually get a sense of what they're like kind of like personality-wise, the energy they show up in the world. And so I'm just going to share with you what came through. And then as I share and the dial sort of turns, this is the way it feels in my head. It's like a dial turns and I'm just sort of in another space. So if you start asking me about, my books, I'm going to be like, no, I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
So I want to talk about will, because will came through first.
As he is wont to do.
That's true.
Yeah. Which has nothing to do with anything. Although everything about a reading, I say this to people, everything about a reading is part of the reading. Who comes, like what shows up first in the order.
Okay.
But this is a mini reading, not a full-on reading. So what was interesting, what came through first about you, Will, was I'm reading my notes. The word simple. And that was not a mental, I want to be clear. It's not a mental.
There's no ton at the end of that.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Patrick. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
No. About how you like to keep things uncomplicated. Like there's just something about too much busyness and it too messy. There was something about things being basic and essential for you that, like, I don't know, it was like you were not fussy. You were not a fussy guy, as what was coming through for me. And I'm trying to like get back to my notes. It wasn't aesthetic. Like you're not a minimalist. Like you need everything to be like, clean with like clean surfaces. It was like there's something about being very straightforward. Like I kept saying, don't try to be too fussy. And so I don't know what that's like in terms of your actual personality. If you're just like, I like things kind of basic. I like things kind of simple. I don't need things to be too fussy and too fancy. So I just want to connect there.
What do you think?
I don't know. I have to think about that.
Yeah?
Yeah. What do you think?
I was just talking about how I want to simplify things.
Maybe you wanting to simplify things. Maybe that's what was coming through.
Yeah.
Because you do have a kind of a lot going on.
Yes.
But, well, you may be busy, but are your style, like, are you strike me like you're not a fussy dresser?
That's it. You're trying to say something about my dress?
You can be fussy about it. It depends. He's a chameleon.
He's a chameleon.
He's a chameleon.
Anyway, so then what came through for you was a message about being an old or older soul.
Now, first he called me a bad dresser. Now he's calling me old.
I said that you were into what was essential.
Right. Okay.
Basic. And what came through was interesting is your path, and this does tie in with the simplicity, is about the path requires no effort. None at all. And your path to being really like, your path was to take as much effort out of your path. And what's amazing about that read is how it came through as take effort out of your path requires effort. And sort of to play with the contradiction, because it's not about doing nothing.
Right.
But the more that you can like let go of effort, something about your path is about simplicity, the basics. It's not about being busy. It's not about being fussy.
Yeah.
It's just and playing with that contradiction, taking effort out of, like playing with that almost paradox. Like, how do I effort my way out of effort?
See, I've gotten that guidance before, and it makes great sense because I'm the guy that really, I teased it a little bit, but astral projection was the big thing for me. And I've tried for 40 years to get out of my damn body. Never have.
You need to get out of your way.
You need to not get out of you don't need to get out of your body. You don't need to get, yeah, you can get away. All the effort, all the trying. It's like when you put your stuff down, all of it. When you put your stuff down, like literally, like I don't have to do anything with this. That's your path. It's like your path is like really simplified. At any time that you're like, oh, I need to like do X, Y, and Z. Oh, and A, B, C, and D.
The answer is
And
no,
I'll
you don't.
get there. Put it down.
Okay.
It's so funny. It's such a funny path for you.
So we were having dinner with a friend a long time ago, and same thing. He channeled something from him, and it was four of us sitting at a table, and he just turned to me and he was talking directly to me and no one else about, you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Just relax. Everything you need is inside you. Just relax and just let everything go, and it will come to you. So you are reinforcing that message that I got, and I get it, but I don't get it, right? Because the effort that it takes to let go of effort is a lot of effort.
Well, I think
Yeah.
because so much of you define yourself by your accomplishments, by your outside accomplishments.
Yes, always have.
And people's approval of that. So for you to let that go is very difficult to do. So it's work for you to let that go, and it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I'm feeling a little attacked.
Yeah. If like,
Maybe seen. It's more like
Sorry.
well, it's a wonderful country. The thing is, and it's interesting because it was also very good. You can get there in this lifetime. You can get to that space of like, oh, me being Will, like, requires no effort.
and it's also
Is available to you if you stop. I'm literally reading my, provided you stop trying so hard to get there.
yeah.
And there was this anxiety that I started to feel, will I get there? Will I get there? Will I get there? And my heart was racing.
Well, it's funny because the path that has called to me the most my entire life, without really realizing, and I've not really done anything about it, has been Zen Buddhism. Like Zen,
There you go. Oh,
yeah, that's always
Okay.
always called to me, and yet I've never done anything about it.
oh my gosh. So what? This is what I love. So I know you were like, so I know when my read feels like, right. And you're like, I'm not simple. I'm not. You know what I love about Zen? Because Zen was my starting place.
Ah,
Zen was my opening. I went to Zen and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all this stuff. And it was no deism whatsoever because
Right.
I was so closed off. So there you go. You should explore that Zen pull.
Yeah.
Because there is simplicity. It's basic. It's essential. It's like those words that kept coming through at the beginning of my read for you of like, it's like you don't need all the song and dance. There's very little like, there's a little bit of ceremony, but it's all just like in service of like, what am I doing? I'm sitting.
Right.
What am I doing? I'm feeling. What am I doing? I'm breathing.
Right.
That's it. It's a beautiful path for you.
Yeah.
And just to mind the no effort,
Right.
you will find something if you really just commit to that. And so put down, I don't know what else you're doing if you're like,
No, I'm doing everything.
He's doing everything.
Yeah, I'm doing everything.
put it, you get to put it down.
All right.
It's going to be like,
All right.
okay, Karen. Now you were really interesting because then you came in and I'm very curious how you're going to respond to this
Oh boy.
because A, you're not as skeptical as you seem or you at all, but also, and I hope you aren't offended by this. So if you need to edit this, there was like a kind of snarky edge to you that like, I was like, interesting. It was like more snark than skepticism. So the way it reads, the way it read is that there's something about believing like openly for you that like kind of had a charge. And it was sort of like, and I'm looking at my notes here, they gave you a kind of space. There was like a safety in like, I don't have to commit to that. I don't have to believe that. Like if I believe it, I'm sort of committing to a course of action and I have to justify it. And then I'm going to deal with the judgment. And like, yeah. And so, all right. So it sounds like I can stop there.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh my God. Like, oh my God. Right? You have no idea how close to the mark you just hit, because this is something we've been talking about for a long time. Like, you just have to accept it, believe it, and just go with it.
I am.
Right. So here's the thing. You, for some reason, it feels like you are going to get caught up in something. Like you're not going to be able to backtrack, or you're going to have to backtrack, and you're going to have to defend, and you're going to have to justify. Like I went down a rabbit hole and it was like, I'm crazy. And people are like, no, you're not crazy. There's something about, it's like, it's a security thing for you. And I just want to say, you don't have to worry about it. What am I going to say? Give yourself permission to I can't read my writing anymore. This happens to me when it's like coming through fast and furious. Actually, interesting. It seems like it actually creates a lot of inaction for you, that like you kind of don't then do stuff because you're sort of unwilling to commit. It's like you kind of circle.
Well, that touches on so many different areas.
Yeah, but you've got a lot of you've got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of energy, but you need to actually just take more action. You just need to go for it. You just need to start doing things and not holding back.
Yeah.
And don't worry if you like go down a rabbit hole. So you two actually really complement each other. This is the third part that came in, was your relationship. The only part of your relationship that I was going to touch on, which is that you complement each other.
Yeah.
But Will is getting you my handwriting is abysmal. Sorry, you guys.
That's okay.
Like I'm like, this is like physician's notes now. I read, I like get on the call and I like, that's the first stuff I share. It's like fresh, and like 55 minutes later, I'm like, who are these people?
Next time we'll do that.
Yeah. Oh, and so Will is actually helping you get somewhere where he needs to slow down, and you actually need to go ahead and take action. And this is what's interesting, is you actually just need to be conscious of what you both need right now, which is that Will is like simplify, and you just take action, and like go ahead and be. This is how it is. Go ahead and be a little cray cray. Like I don't care. Just like you don't worry about it. And and in this way, you actually kind of are bifurcating. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like you kind of each in your mission, in your path, like how you want. It's like it reads like this, but just because you both are like so on the path together.
Yeah.
It's not that you aren't going to talk about it, but it's kind of like the expression of how that looks. It's like, it actually starts looking like very far apart, but it's only in like kind of like what you're doing. It's like Will's sitting, like literally just sitting, and you're like, I'm off to this crazy thing, and
Yep.
and it's going to help you because it feels to me like you have a lot of it, like you move a lot, but you're not getting anywhere. Okay,
like
sorry.
in every aspect of my life, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Just start committing to
because
direct.
I used to. I was like,
Yeah. Patrick.
Okay, we need to stop, but I wanted to mention one last thing.
Okay.
Are you guys thinking about moving? Is there something about a move that's on for you? Because this move energy is all around you, and I feel like you are going to move, but it's like it's all very sticky to me. What's going on?
It's sticky to us too.
Yeah.
We just talked about that this morning, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. It's swirling around you. I think you guys are going to move at some point.
Yeah.
This is a good example. Just be okay with the stickiness for a little while.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sometimes we talk to people that we don't get through any of the questions that we had
Of
on
course.
and you are definitely one of those. I think we could have talked to you for hours and hours and hours. Thank you so much for the reading. That it was spot on every step of the way. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
We're going to add a direct link on our show notes to your website so someone can go and take advantage of your new program and can reach out and talk to you about maybe doing a reading or things like that. So we can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure, you two. I could talk to you for hours as well, but
we'll have
we
to do
all
it
have
again.
stuff to do.
Yeah, we do.
Definitely. So I definitely want to thank you for coming on, but I definitely want to thank you, friends, for tuning in. And if you take one thing away from this conversation, please know that no, you're not lost. You're just somewhere your map didn't expect. We'll see you in the next Skeptic Renovations.
Take care.
Okay.